Hello everyone and welcome to a different kind of video. Today is actually going to be a video about, well, the channel in general, right? Because it's been a full year of me doing this YouTube channel and seeing what I can make of it, sort of thing, right? Now, so, in this year I've uploaded every single day. Like every single day has had a video posted on it. So, it's a leap year, so that's 366 days. Yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that, like, in that sense. But anyway, not the point. Point is, today I'm going to be looking at my analytics, just talking about some things that I've noticed over time, just having a general nose around, basically, right? But yeah, so first off, to show that, yeah, basically, as you can see, like, July 15th, 14th, 12th, all that sort of stuff. If I organize by my date here, okay, like, well, I mean, you have some like private videos and unlisted videos. There's this video back here in September 12th, 2020. More unlisted videos, like 2021 video, really old videos and all that stuff. But you'll see that it's July 16th here. That's when I get on to like consistently uploading every day, like 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and that just keeps going, right? Now, yeah, like, I mean, I have my webcam up in its top corner, so like, I can, when it has like the likes versus dislikes, you can sort of see that, right? Like, that's a thing that, I unlisted this video, which although was based on my first upload, that was doing really well, because I mean, this did well, but that did well over time. Like, sort of like if I look at the analytics of this, you can see that its views and watch time has just went up steadily over time, right? It's not like something that's this has been around for like years and years and years at this point. Like, it's been around for like almost 4 years. So, it's done all right, but it's not. It still actually gets views. Like, it's getting 7 views in the last 48 hours. So, it's not exactly like it's a bad video, but like, in terms of actually getting a lot more viewers and like, people watching the videos, it's really like this sort of year, like, this video here, like the first video I uploaded like in this chain has more views than that video. It's like, it's been around for 4 years, so this has been around for 1 year, right? And if I look at that, I can see that it's been around for 1 year. Like, it's done sort of like that over its year, and that's great. Like, it gets 40 views in the last 48 hours. So you can see it's going better than that. But anyway, that's not the point. Like, it's not really about, well, I mean, it is kind of about viewers. It is kind of like, it's about you guys in that sense. Like, because, if there weren't such positive feedback, I wouldn't, keep on doing this. But, since it was positive feedback in that sense, like, yeah, these Dave the Diver videos, they went pretty well. Like, even like some, I say pretty well, but they got like, this one's got like 34,000 views, so it's kind of like that's very good for someone who's basically just starting out, right? Like, that's, and like, 364 like free likes, 403 likes, over 90% like percentage, it's quite good, right? Like, it's quite good stats to have, right? Now, I have some older videos, like, I have this crazy taxi thing, like, that's my first video with copyright on it. Um, I actually do have like some stuff that's actually blocked in partial countries because of copyright. So, if you don't see an upload every day from me, that's probably why, because it's been blocked in your country. But yeah, like, if I look at this one, that, this is something I'm quite happy with, like, it's just a long gameplay of Crazy Taxi. The crazy thing is, like, about like 2% of people have watched it all the way through, so it's kind of like, this is like a 2-hour video. Um, like, yeah, now there's quite a lot to go on here, right? And that's my thing, right? Because, well, I'll get back to this page, really, I should say, because I want to, like, talk about a lot about, like, last 365 days in here, right? Like, in my big overall overview, like, chart, right? where, you know, I got my views, I got my watch hours, and I got like subscribers that I gained on a given day, right? So what's significant? That there's like, you know, there's certain spikes, and then like over here it just kind of became, well, you know, it kind of just evolved over here. Like over here is a complete evolution of like what I was doing, right? Like, you know, I didn't change anything specifically, but the thing about it is, you know, it's just like it just really took off over there. It's all the same videos getting, it's all the same videos getting views. I don't know if you hear that dog barking or not, but you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, and what the point? You know, it's like, as I was saying, right, you know, over here is where it sort of like really changed up for some reason. Like, you know, I don't know what that necessarily reason is, but I can get more into that later. But yeah, basically, like, so, you know, this is where I sort of started, right? Like around here. You know, I was getting like a casual couple of hundred views a day, but it really started ramping up like after like 10 days, you know, 11 days. Like, you know, after like 2 weeks of consistently uploading, like, you know, I was uploading Dave the Diver guides and people really liked the Dave the Diver guides. You know, like, you know, Dave the Diver just hit full release at that point, so a lot of people were buying it. You know, and I was, you know, just pointing out like a bunch of stuff, like, you know, because it was a couple of weeks in, like, so, you know, people were still buying it. It's still a relatively new game. So a lot of people were watching the guides, right? And it sort of trailed off after a while because obviously it runs out of, like, you know, I run out of guides to make, right? So then it goes through this area. And there was an update to Dave the Diver in October, which is like this little bump here, but it didn't really do anything significant. Like, then of course in December there was a Dredge DLC for Dave the Diver, and that's what this is. And the Godzilla DLC actually takes place sometime around here, right? So, like, basically, like, this spike that happened in April happened out of nowhere, sort of thing. Like, it came completely out of nowhere. Now, I was doing like a bunch of random stuff throughout the year, right? Like, lots and lots of random stuff. So I've kind of moved away from guides and more into like just general gameplay playthroughs, right? I think I was actually partway through San Andreas when this happened. Like, you know, I was playing GTA San Andreas. You know, like, you know, it's not San Andreas that made it popular, but you know, it sort of like, you know, came across on my graph, right? So, you know, and if I look at my watch time, you know, it's very much a similar story in a sense of like, you know, the graph takes mostly the same shape. There's, yeah, sure, there's different peaks and different spikes, but it follows like the same overall trend. Like the graphs look very similar. And of course, subscribers, you can't really tell much about the subscribers from here, like, you know, because it's just like, you gain this many on a day, you gain that, lost that many on a day, you know, whatever, right? Like, you know, I got a -2 over there, and like, you know, I got +12 over here. So, you know, it's kind of all over the place, right? The better look at subscribers is if I see my live count here and I turn it over 365 days, you can see, you know, I started off like within like, you know, about 15, 14 likes of them. Like when I first started out this year, and I gradually, like over time, I just gained a bunch of subscribers, right? Like, well, not a bunch, but, well, actually, it is a bunch considering, like, how I was doing before with the Psycho Creek video. And, you know, now I'm all the way up here, like, which is quite significant in that sense. Like, you know, although it's not as significant as it could be. Like, say, for example, I go into the earn section. Uh, you know, I'm still trying to reach this 500 subscriber goal just to have this eligible, and even still like this 1,000 subscriber goal. Even though I doubt I'll turn this on when I get to there, because, like, you know, then it's just like a bunch of like, oh yeah, then I have like, 'cause you have to sort out tax and all that, right, for like, you know, the country that you live in and all that, and it's like, well, you know, it'll cause quite a mess in my situation, and it doesn't seem like much like it's worth it. Like, it's just going to be like, well, you know, I might get £5 here or there, but, like, you know, overall, you know, I don't feel like people need to pay for my content, at least not at the level it's at right now. Like, you know, that, for the numbers I have right now, you know, I don't really feel like I need people paying me. Like, you know, that's fine. Like, I do this because I wanted to do this, not because I'm, like, you know, trying to, like, I mean, yeah, sure, it would be nice to make a career out of science, like, you know, but even then, this isn't exactly for, like, gonna be like, if I did do that, this isn't going to be like my whole career sort of thing. Like, you know, I'd want to move on to different things over time, right? Like, you know, if anything, this is going to be like I'd use this as a marketing opportunity sort of thing, where it's sort of like, you know, if I was already prominent in this sort of like space, then, you know, if I can make a product or make something like a, well, you know, I have my idea in mind, but I can't really, I'm not going to go into detail on my idea, right? But like, you know, the point being is like, you know, so if I can make something that's actually worthwhile that people be interested in, otherwise, like just in general, then, you know, having this platform here that's like sort of already developed, you know, I can get the message out like that. It's fine. Like, you know, if I had like a YouTube channel where it actually does recommend my videos to people, like, you know, it does appear in the suggested and all that, you know, it's going to be a lot more easier for people to actually find my idea instead of just like going like, ah, I have this idea, like, let's make it. I make it, and it's like this. I have no way of putting it out there really, like, you know, without, yeah, like significant investment. Like this at least is a way of doing something. But either way, I get ahead of myself, right? Because, well, you know, it's kind of like, it is what it is right now. As you can see, like my top content this period, like, you know, I have like this Dave the Diver guide that's like, you know, I'm not actually too happy with this guy, to be honest. Like, you know, yeah, it's my most viewed video, but it's like, it's only a sort of correct, it's, the guide's only sort of correct, right? Yeah, sure, it goes over like Stalate Puff and Nikagori, but it's not like it goes, like, you know, it says a bunch of other stuff that, like, you know, after doing a playthrough of Dave the Diver again, like, you know, when I just tried out stuff in my guide, turns out the Stalate Puffer just carries straight until, like, you know, you get ability to level 15 and you can just do Crimson Fish Roll. So it's like, you only really need the first and last dishes I mention in here. You don't really need any of the middle stuff, which, so, you know, I'm kind of unhappy with this guy because it has all this middle stuff in it that you don't really need to go for. You just need to stick with the first dish, basically. And again, like, you know, this money guide here, it's not as good. Like, this one's absolute trash. Like, you know, horrible guide. But anyway, yeah, like, but then like the next one, like, you know, my Mjolnir locations, you know, really great. Like that one is just good because, you know, it just has the locations. You know, these weapons, yeah, I like that one. Like the fish farm, I could probably have done a better job with it now that I know more. But, and also, you know, it's not updated for, like, you know, the modern, like, October update. So, you know, that's the thing there. You know, see people mural one, that's great. This max out menu, I mean, I actually love that one because it took me so long to max out the menu. So, you know, that's kind of just like a flex. But yeah, best and useful staff, yeah, I like that one. Dev Killer, yep, I like that one. Although I'm a bit unhappy in a sense, like I didn't mention that you can hold down the fire button in the video. You can only really see if you're watching my video, like, oh yeah, he's holding down the fire button. But if I had mentioned it, that would have been a better key, like, for people. These promo code one, that one's alright, but I made a recent promo code one that's like, yeah, better than that, right? But either way, right? You know, I'll go through a walkthrough of my journey in, like, my video for, like, later, but right now I just want to go through, like, maybe, like, I'll go through some of this stuff, right? Now, okay, maybe not so much that one, but my click-through rate, like, you know, it's gone up over time. I like that a lot. Like, you know, it's sort of like, well, you know, now I'm getting like a 10% click-through rate. Before I was getting like a 5. You know, it's gradually gone up. Like my average view duration, okay, that's gone down over time, but that's okay, right? You know, it's whatever. Like, you know, my impressions, I got a lot at the start. Now I'm just getting like, but the thing about it, right, is back here I was getting like, you know, say like it was trying me out on like 33,000 impressions, 66,000, 25,000 and all that, right? And here I'm getting like maybe like 10,000, 20,000 at maximum. But if I look at the views, it's largely the same. So that means back then, like, you know, although my videos were shown to twice as many people, of all those twice as many people, none of them were clicking the video. So, like, you know, I had like, say, if it was like 1 in 4 people, actually, no, it's not 1 in 4, but like, you know, over here you can see like in the spike, like, yeah, basically the point being is like over here, like, you know, on average I had like 20, 30,000, like, say, and, you know, I was only getting like 2,000 views, and over here like 3,000 views, and over here I have like 10,000, maybe 20,000, and, you know, I'm getting the same amount of views. So it's sort of like, you know, twice as many people click my videos as they used to. sort of thing, if that makes sense. That's why click-through rate's gone up over time. Like, you know, that's why it's pretty much doubled, because, yeah, that's basically what that's about. Like, you know, it's crazy to see that I got this many impressions, and it just started like, oh, you know what, he's been around for like I guess that's 10 months at this point, like, and that's why it started like showing up there. But you know, it's kind of like a weird one, right? And if I go into my audience here, like you got like returning viewers and new viewers, right? And now they've been remaining fairly consistent throughout over time. Now the funny thing is, like, you know, I have like what, over 700, 500, like, you know, returning viewers, but not all of them are subscribed. Like, I can tell that not all of them are subscribed. Now I'll get into that, but if they were subscribed, it would be more helpful towards like my earn goals. Although, yeah, I don't really want to turn those on because, you know, I don't really have the audience for it yet. But I mean, I don't really feel like it's worth, like, you know, trying to do that at the moment. But you know, it'd be nice to actually be eligible for it, sort of thing, if that makes sense. Like, so it's sort of like it's there for when I do need it, or not need it, but like it's there for when I do want to actually make a proper action on it. But like, yeah, but well, I'm not worried because, you know, I'll probably get there over the next year or something. Like, you know, if its growth rate continues at the growth rate it's going, like, you know, I'll be there within a year, year and a half. It's gonna be fine, right? And like, you know, as you can see, like, you know, even as time zone of like when people are on, and like, you know, people are on around like, you know, 5 p.m. in my time, like, you know, 6 p.m. Tells you when people are online, like they'll watch your videos, and they kind of like, you know, it kind of trails off after that. You know, this is not that accurate. You know, you got like geographies or like where people are from. That's like, here's a subscribe stats. Watch time. You know, my watch time comes from 1.7% of people who are subscribed, who are more likely to watch my entire videos. But 98% of people are not subscribed, so it's like, yeah, you know, if they were subscribed, I'd have a lot more towards like the actual goals that YouTube sets you, right? But you know, I don't have that here. But that's, again, not something that I'm worried about. Like, you know, again, if I look at the top geographies here, you can see, like, you know, United States has quite a big, like, large amount of my audience. Like, a large amount of my audience is just United States, and that makes sense because, like, you know, I'm speaking English. There's a lot of people who speak English in the United States, like, you know, because there's just a lot of people in the United States. So it makes sense they're going to watch my videos, right? But what surprises me is, like, you know, I have quite a large viewing in Germany. Yeah, I mean, you know, then Thailand of all places, like, that's crazy to me. Like, how it's sort of like, I mean, yeah, they don't have as much view duration, but I imagine that's because, you know, I'm speaking English, and, you know, if you're from Thailand, you might not necessarily speak English, you might be speaking Thai instead. And, you know, it's going to be a lot more, you know, the auto-generated, translated, like, subtitles aren't that good anyway, so, yeah, you're kind of like, I mean, I can understand it, but, like, yeah, at the same time, it's like, it's crazy that, like, I have that much viewing in Thailand. I find that just surprising. Then obviously behind that is United Kingdom. Again, more like English speaking people, and also, yeah, you know, that's where I'm from, so, you know, that kind of makes sense. Then it's Brazil. Now the interesting one about Brazil is, like, you know, it really picked up in its viewership in the later parts, right? And the thing about Brazil is, like, I get a lot of viewers from Brazil when I'm playing like a specific game 171, right? Now, like, you know, I cover that like occasionally, like it has updates throughout the year because, well, it's an early access title. I enjoy it. Like, you know, I like to check out the new features. I do need to go back on it at some point in the near future because I want to grind out the money so I can buy properties. Like, they've even added a parking, but you know what? I'll get into that when I'm actually doing a video on it. But like, basically, yeah, you know, that game is being made by a Brazilian studio. You know, set in Brazil, so it's sort of like, you know, it's good to have a little bit of nationalistic pride there when they're like, yes, you know, this is a Brazilian game. It's gonna, you know, it represents Brazil, you know, quite well. And, you know, so they're happy to see people playing the game. Like, you know, they want to see, like, you know, the game do well. And, you know, I can understand that. Like, you know, that's great. Like, you know, you haven't really seen many Brazilian game devs. So it's kind of like, it's nice to see, you know, like, you know, they support it because it's like, well, yeah, they want to see it succeed, and it's great. It's like that's great positive energy in my opinion. Like, you know, so I'm happy to like see them, you know, like, you know, get these Portuguese comments on my videos where I'm like, yeah, I have to translate them, but it's it's great. I love it. Like, you know, I'm happy that, like, you know, they're enjoying the content wherever they find it, like, in that sense. And then obviously I have like Canada, Australia, more English speaking countries. Then it's like Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia. So I have a lot of like, combine that with Thailand, you know, I have a lot of like viewership in Southeast Asia. And I don't really know. Oh, see, it puzzles me why there is this viewership in Southeast Asia, but you know, then I got like more viewership in Europe, like Spain, France. But yeah, then Singapore's back to like Southeast Asia. And there's Netherlands, Italy, Mexico, which is, you know, that's near the United States. So yeah, like, you know, I got like quite a few viewers. Like, you know, I got viewers from all over. Like, when you look at that, like, you know, it's just like there's a lot of. I mean, yeah, it dwindles down and down and down. And you know, this was like, considering this is over a year. So like, you know, when it says like 100 people from Puerto Rico viewed in a year, that's less than one a day. Like, you know, everything from Finland and below, you know, I'm getting less than one a day, but everything from Greece and above is actually like, you know, one a day, maybe more. And you know, so it's sort of like it's interesting to look at. Like, you know, I haven't got many viewers from like I'm looking at like some of the things like, you know, um, some of my videos are actually blocked in Russia. Like, I know one of them was blocked in Japan. Um, you know, stuff like that, right? Where it's like, well, yeah, I can't really get around that, but like, yeah, now I'm looking at that and like, it's just interesting to look at, right? Where, yeah, no, it's just interesting to look at the geography. Like, you know, cities isn't really that helpful. You know, age, you know, I should see like my audience is predominantly like 25 to 34, kind of in the same age range as me. So, you know, sort of like a relatable thing. Like, you know, I got like people like 10 years younger or older in that range. Well, not 10 years because like, you know, that's 18. So like, you know, I'm not that old yet, but like, you know, actually it's kind of 10 years younger. Yeah, I got a lot of people that are 10 years younger, 10 years older, maybe like, you know, more close to 15 years older. But like, yeah, it kind of dwindles off like in both directions here. Like, you know, I got some 45 like 45 to 55-year-old viewers, but it's mainly like here, like everything else, like not 1, not 2, and not 3. So like, you know, that makes up like less than or about half, like 0.6, like about half a percent of like, you know, 1 in 200 people fall into this group sort of thing. And I say 1 in like 160 just to be generous, but yeah, you know, like it's mainly this group and some of this group, right? Like that are really like, you know, my viewers. Again, we're going to viewer gender. You know, it's 91% male, 8.8% female. Like, you know, some user specified gender in there. And, you know, that's all cool. Like, you know, that's kind of what I'm expecting in a way. Like, you know, the kind of content I produce. But you know, either way, it you know, it kind of is what it is, right? Like, you know, and I don't even know what this. Yeah, this is just watch time hours, I guess. It's like just like the watch time chart again. Um, yeah, I can see a subscription status here, like, you know, just subscribed, not subscribed. Yeah, there's just bulk majority of people they're just not subscribed. Like, you know, that's how it is. Like, you know, that's just gonna be what it is. Like, I guess like this return of subscribers here, that was probably for the Godzilla content of Dave the Diver. You know, it's probably for the Dredge update of Dave the Diver. This is like the October update here. Like, you can see the little uh, bits, but like, you know, most people don't watch the rest of my other content, right? Like, who subscribe, like, you know, they just, you know, they don't. Like, you know, I'm looking at like these numbers here, and I'm like, well, considering I have like what 450 subscribers now, it's kind of like it's kind of crazy to consider. Like, you know, I'm getting like maybe 9 views from subscribers a day, but like I appreciate people who are subscribed, don't watch like the majority of my content, but stay subscribed anyway. Like, you know, that is something I appreciate because again, it's sort of like it helps me out, and also at the same time, like, you know, being subscribed means like you know, if I actually do something that's like more interesting in that sense. Like, you know, maybe I come up with like idea, like, you know, I use this platform to push like a new thing that I make, right? Like, you know, if I write something or if I create something, right, and I pushed it through this platform, that means, you know, the people who are subscribed, you're going to be some of the first to know about it. It's going to appear in your subscription feed, and you'll be like, oh, wait, what? I thought this guy just played a bunch of random games I didn't care about. What is this? So, like, you know, it's interesting in that sense. You know, I can even look at my subscription source, like, you know, a bunch of people unsubscribe from if I go to my channel page, that's fine. Like, you know, it just happens. Like, of course, you're gonna like a bunch of people like, oh yeah, well, this guy's uploading every day, a bunch of stuff I don't care about. I'm just gonna unsub from him. You know, I can understand that. Like, you know, that's just gonna happen. Like, you know, but thankfully, I am getting more people over time than am losing people. So, you know, I'm happy with that. Um, and you know, like again, like I dipped my toes into live streaming a bit on YouTube. Yeah, the Dredge DLC went really well, actually, like surprisingly well. But you know, the Godzilla DLC not so much. But you know, those Dave the Dive streams, they definitely did sign. Like, you know, that was actually it's a very interesting one because if I look at my like if I was looking at my content graph, like my views graph, like this spike here being added onto this video, that's why it has a second spike like over here. Like, you know, it's got like it's just a gradual ramp up and down with one peak, but there's actually two peaks on my thing. But yeah, um, this video's already 26 minutes long. This is crazy, but you know, if I'm looking at my playlists, you know, like at first I didn't make playlists, and all of a sudden I decided, hey, wait, why don't I just make playlists, right? So I made a bunch of playlists, and yeah, my Dave the Diver playthroughs gets stuff like my all party guides, the update playthrough from October. I mean, the Dredge one's just a live stream, but you know that's kind of it. But then, like, you know, I got the Crazy Taxi, the Crazy Box guide. Now that's pretty cool. Like, you know, my GTA San Andreas playthrough. Um, you know, these playlists do get some views, but not really. Like, you know, that's kind of like, for some reason, someone was like, you know, some people viewed my music playlist, like, you know, they don't give me view time or anything like that, because it's all just from other channels uploading music, so you know that's a thing. But like you know, it's kind of like when I look at this, right? Do I see playlists as a failure? Well, not really, because like, you know, even though like, yeah, say if I look at this, like I'm like, yeah, a bunch of these are getting like, you know, less than 20 views, less than 50 views, like sort of thing. Like, you know, these playlists aren't really bringing people in. But I'm pretty sure, like, of the people who do use these playlists, like the 20, 50 people that use it, they appreciate the playlist being there. Like, you know, if two people want to watch my Banished playthrough, they can do that, although they don't, because, like, you know, look at playlist watch time hours, you know, they clicked off it. But, yeah, you know, that's, again, like, you know, if I'm looking at, like, the views from playlists, like, here, like, you know, some people watch my 171 playthrough, like, some of it. But like, you know, a lot of that's got like a lot of watch time. You can see that's disproportionately large compared to its playlist. Like it gives me an idea of how well a series is doing, I'd say as well. Like, you know, looking at some of these things, like you for playlist start, average view duration, like, you know, because if they put only like say for example here, like if I put like only catch and cook fishing adventure in this playlist, I can see how many people watch my catch and cook fishing adventure and like, you know, how far through it they made. And you know, if I only put like, you know, We Are About to Die in there, like, you know, I can see how much watch time came from that. So it does give me an idea of what has been watched and what wasn't. Like, it actually surprises me that my like, cause I thought my Nier playthrough was doing really badly, and you know, to an extent it was. And to an extent, like, yeah, some parts were like some balked audio where it's basically like I didn't record my entire audio for that part, and that's just lost. But you know, if I look at that, like, you know, people watched it for like 22.6 hours total, so you know, someone out there probably watched quite a bit of it. You know, but that's the main point about it, is like, you know, if one person enjoys like the thing that I'm doing, then you know, that's fine by me. Like, you know, it's not everything's going to be like the David Diver all party guides where, you know, it's a guide, so people actually want to watch it, and you know, people like, you know, look at it and go like, oh wow, yeah, no, this guide's really helpful. I mean, it's not going to be like my Dave the Diver playthrough where it's like, you know, people are like, oh yeah, this guy is a Dave the Diver guy. Yeah, so you know, of course, I'm going to watch a playthrough from him. Like that's going to be interesting. You know, it's not going to be like that all the time, but you know, I'm happy that it's there, sort of thing. And also, interestingly enough, I can actually view by device type, and as you can see here, like yeah, when I start getting more recommended in April, it mainly went to people on mobile, right? And over time, it's slowly transitioned a bit more into computer views, like you know, which I find a bit crazy, right? Like you know, it's just like well, um, and also yeah, a line looks a bit red around here, but that's just the purple and orange overlapping each other, right? It's sort of like you know, what I find interesting is like you know, it's sort of like you know, you kind of get what you expect here. Like you know, mobile phone viewers have like the least average duration. Then like you know, computer about the same really actually. You know, they click off quite well, like easily. But like you know, if you're setting it up on your TV, like shout out to my TV viewers, they're like, well, yeah, I spent all this time. Like, I imagine the interface on the TV isn't as like you know easy, so it's sort of like, yeah, nah. If I'm clicking on a video, I kind of don't want to click off it for like you know, I'll give it like an extra 30 seconds, so, you know, because like you know, or in this case like an extra minute because it's sort of like yeah, you have to use your remote or all that stuff. It's a lot more effort to actually find navigate content. It's not just like tap tap or click click. Uh, you actually have to like you know you actually have to go through menus on like a TV. So it's kind of like well yeah, I could understand why they're having like more watch time like on average. And again like you know the tablet you know so that one surprises me, but you know that's is what it is, right? And also have like all kinds of other stuff like you know what kind of like subtitles people use, like you know all sorts of stuff, right? New and returning viewers, operating system even, that's a weird one. Like, you know, if I'm looking at operating system, like, you know, you've got Windows, Android, iOS, like, you know, as you can see here, like, since, yeah, mobile got more recommended over here, like, you know, the Android and iOS kind of went up really massively. You know, like, you know, Macintosh, PlayStation, Smart TV, and like, you know, you can see all these different operating systems, right? You know, Xbox, Linux, Nintendo Switch, Apple TV, Amazon Fire. Like, you know, that's a really weird one. Like, you know, so yeah, if you didn't know that YouTube was collecting this sort of data about you, they collect everything. Like, you know, they're collecting what operating system you're using. They're collecting, like, you know, uh, what sort of like subtitles you're using, what kind of translation you're using. Like, you know, if I look at here, like, you know, a lot of people like no subtitles, but some people put English subtitles on. You know, Portuguese auto-translated subtitles are quite popular. I imagine, like, you know, that's on my 171 videos when, like, you know, Portuguese-speaking people from Brazil are like, well, I'll put on the subtitles because although, yeah, the auto-translated subtitles aren't good, they're all right, I suppose. You know, they want to kind of understand what I'm saying in one set, like about 171, I guess. Like, you know, or maybe it's just like if they're watching my Dave the Diver guides, you know, they're turning it on. You know, and again, Italian, Spanish, Thai, you know, there are people who give the auto-translated subtitles quite a lot of, like, quite a bit of a go, right? Like, you know, what surprised me is like, you know, German auto-translated is so low down where it's like, you know, I got quite a large view in Germany, but then again, a lot of them might know English as a second language because, well, you know, they live in Europe and, you know, it's sort of like, well, might as well learn that. A lot of places use like English, like America uses English. Like that's probably like the main reason that they'd learn it. Like not because of the UK, because you know, uh, in Europe, UK is considered largely as a joke. At least I feel it is. And I could understand that completely. Like yeah, you know, that's just I'm not gonna go into it, but yeah, nah, you know. If anything, I should look into leaving the UK, you know, but well, that's a different topic for a different day if I ever get into it, because yeah, you know, but not the point, not the point. You know, so I'm looking at all this sort of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you can see all kinds of stuff, like, you know, playback location as well, like, you know, who's actually on YouTube, who's on external embedded sites, you know, who's, you know, it's quite interesting, like, you know, browse features that the embedded, like, websites and apps, especially like the embedded websites, the browse features over here. That's weird. Like, anyway, another point, right? So, yeah, it's basically like a lot of what I'd want to compare when I'm looking over here, right? Like, you know, we've seen all this stuff already, right? What I'm gonna get into now is like my content, right? Like, you know, what sort of content I've done. It's already ordered by like a day oldest to newest, right? So it's actually perfect. So that's what I kind of wanted to go through, right? So, like, you know, and my Borderlands video from ages ago, you know, I made some videos in Dynasty Warriors 8, like, you know, like that game. This Minecraft video is like, yeah, the thing about that is, as much as I enjoyed Minecraft, the problem that I had with it was that, like, the world that I built got deleted, right? And, you know, I had all this, like, you know, you look at it in this video, like, you know, it has all this cool stuff in it, right? But, you know, so, and that world getting deleted really hit me, right? Not because of, you know, all the stuff that I built in it, like, none of that, right? It's because, like, you know, I had some stuff in there that my dad built, because, you know, I used to play Minecraft with my brother and my dad, and, you know, so there was some stuff in there that he built, but he passed away, so it's sort of like, losing that world is like, I lost that part of him that he had left there, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, I have no motivation to start a new Minecraft world, because, like, yeah, I'm trying to rebuild some of the features I built. Like, you know, some of the stuff that I would have put back in the world that he built, I just can't build, right? Like, you know, I'm looking at it like, I don't know the layout of it. I can't work out the layout of it. So it's like, you know, there's this big spiral tower in there, like really big spruce spiral tower. Like, if you watched it, you know, if you watched like the live stream of it, you might be able to see that in there some point, right? But, like, you know, I never really get a good look at it, and I regret that a lot in that sense, because if I had a good look at it, I'd be able to, like, remake it quite well, right? But because I don't, it's kind of like I only have very certain frames and very certain angles where I can view it from, and it is, you know, building it would be like, as much as I'd like to rebuild it, I don't think I can, right? And it's all like, yeah, nah. So, you know, I left that because I'm left that. Like, you know, that's a personal story from me. So, you know, that's sort of like, yeah, why I don't play Minecraft, because, well, I just don't have the motivation in me there to do that anymore, right? Now, I realise I might have been a video playing on, like, my, so I'm going for Twitch shops drops in Hunt Showdown right now. So, like, yeah, there was a video playing on Twitch and like that. So if you saw that reflection in my glasses, like the past half hour or so, yeah, that's just a Hunt Showdown Twitch drops. Like, that's a Hunt stream. Like, you know, I've opened my Twitch inventory now, so it's fine. It'd be more a static screen. Like, I just realised that, you know, but another point, right? You know, I have like me fighting Lubu on Dynasty Warriors 8, you know, so like, you know, a teardown video where I just done a random stage, you know, the Crazy Attacks video, like an Ark Survival Evolved guide, before Ark Survival Evolved became Ark Survival, like, released Ark Survival Ascended, which is, in my opinion, an inferior version, even though it's updated graphically. There's just some, you know, I'm not going to get into that, just some features that just, like, completely ruined the game, in the sense of, like, there's things you can't do that, you know, really made the game for me in Survival Evolved. And, you know, like, there's this, although it says published that date, it was really recorded a lot earlier. And I want to see if I can actually find that in analytics, uh, which, no, I can't. I seem to have scrubbed all the views that I got, like, from when it's unlisted. Like, you know, it says 3 views, whereas, like, if you look here, it says 16 here, so, you know, you could tell that this is kind of just a bought video in that sense. But either way, like, you know, again, I used to like Payday 2 as well, but then they broke it with, like, update 237, and yeah, like, there's a lot of games I used to play, but now I don't. But that's like the early days before anything really took off. And then, like, you know, I got these Dave the Diver guides going. I did mess around on LMMS. And I should get back to that really, but you know, I'm not like a music producer, like, you know, I'm not talented, like, yeah, I've spent a lot of time doing that, and I really should, because, you know, it'd be cool to, like, you know, make music like that, but, you know, it's sort of like, and, you know, it's a free software, like, you can just download it if you like, if you're interested in, like, you know, making electronic music, you know, it's something that is worthwhile giving a go if you get, like, LMMS, because, well, it's free. You can mess around with it. You spend age long enough messing around in it, you might make something good. Like, you know, that's all I'm saying, right? But, you know, like, interesting enough, this Dynasty Warriors video here actually got like quite a few views. I'm actually interested in seeing like what went on with that. It's more in recent time that it sort of picked up, but again, like, you know, it's basically like it's interesting really, like, what some of the like videos are getting views on. You know, of course, more Dave the Diver guides. I really started off on Dave the Diver guides. Like, that was really, I kind of like ran out of ideas towards the end. Like, you know, I had like a Modern Ass Warriors guide, like a Sleeping Dogs guide. Probably should do a playthrough of Sleeping Dogs at some point, because although, yeah, I've already finished it, you know, if I have a Sleeping Dogs video on my channel and it's done sort of well, you know, I'm sure people wouldn't mind seeing sequels of Sleeping Dogs. Like, you know, like, you know, this video I'm actually quite happy with, because it just shows the quickest way to level up bodyguards, which, you know, that's great. Um, you know, this Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath video, I'm actually quite happy with in that sense. Like, you know, Dungeon Defenders, you know, I really like that. Like, you know, actually, yeah, as you can see, like, you know, the screenshot is basically like me being like one of the top players on the leaderboard for a certain map, and it's just like, yeah, here's how you can set up a defenses for farm and equipment on this map. Like, you know, take my word for it. And this Hunt Showdown video, I mean, I would play more Hunt Showdown, but I'm just not good at it. It's a PvP game. You know, that's just not sort of my style. Like, you know, if I was streaming, maybe, like, there's a lot of this stuff where it's like, yeah, if I was streaming, I'd play some more of these games, and I'll get into that in a minute. Like, you know, some other games that I'm come across on my list, but, like, you know, it's sort of like, you know, I don't really want to make a video where, like, making a highlight video for it would be hard, right? That's the thing. Like, you know, there's a lot to cut out, a lot of editing to do. And it's like, yeah, you know, another teardown video didn't really go down well with people, so, you know, I didn't bother in the end. Like, you know, a RuneScape video because Necromancy came out, like, that was I think that's almost like a year ago now, but, like, yeah, Necromancy came out in RuneScape, and, I was a RuneScape player, so I am a RuneScape player, I should say, like, you know, RuneScape 3, and yeah, so you know, I covered like a trick that I learned there, like, you know, because I learned about, like, you know, saving resources in that game, which is a big thing in that game. Like, you don't want to waste resources, so it's sort of like, yeah, instead of like farming these sets of robes that, you know, just you just couldn't buy them at the time from other players, because everyone and their mum needed them basically. So it's sort of like, yeah, if you could get away with only using one set of them that you probably already have, then, you know, that was a great video to actually have. You know, of course, more David the Diver guides, like, you know, stuff like that. You know, my other RuneScape video didn't do too well, but, you know, but because everyone knows this sort of trick. But yeah, not a point, no point there. You know, I did a tier list for Dynasty Warriors 8 DLC. 2 people liked it, 2 people dislike it. Like, you know, it's not really that good a tier list, to be honest. Like, you know, I spent a lot of time rambling. Like, you know, in this video, I'm spending a lot of time rambling. But, you know, basically rates like the DLCs in very separate tiers of, like, yeah, this DLC is great because it actually adds content. This DLC is not so great because overpriced and adds, like, costumes. That was basically it, right? Yeah, basically, you know, and I was doing Dave the Diver sort of stuff, like, you know, I sort of run out of ideas, you know, doing the party guide, so that's why I swapped over to, like, Crazy Taxi, really. Like, I did a Dread Hunger, like a tutorial for the walkthrough, for the tutorial, and you get, like, all the bone totems in the tutorial. Interesting thing about that is, it still gets views to this day, despite the fact, like, back in, December over here, like, it was removed from the Steam Marketplace. Like, you know, you can't buy it on Steam anymore back in that December. And in January, they shut down the servers for it, right? But, you know, it still gets views. So, you know, really great game. Just, yeah, I guess it just weren't on the cards for it. Like, you know, private servers do exist for it, but yeah, like, you know, finding one of those would actually be kind of difficult. And again, yeah, so that's a social game. You know, I can't really play that, like, you know, with people. Um, and you got, like, you know, more Crazy Taxi guides. I finally got the Shark Party guide. Like, you know, my Crazy Taxi guides. You know, I quite have, like, you know, I like Crazy Taxi. It's a classic game from my childhood, really. Like, you know, I played it on the Dreamcast originally. Amazing game, right? You know, people didn't like my Crazy Zigzag guide for some reason. My Crazy Bowling guide got like a bunch of views despite the fact that it's not that good. Because, well, I suck at Crazy Bowling, but that's why probably everyone was clicking on the guide, because we all suck at Crazy Bowling, let's be real. Unless you're like god at it, in which case, fair play. You know, let your technique be known, friend. But not a point. You know, then that's kind of after that. That's sort of when I went into my full-on playthrough mode, right? Where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do playthroughs, right? And, you know, I had like Potion Craft Alchemist Simulator, which, you know, that's a pretty fun game, to be honest. I put my leg up here. You still can't see it on the camera. That's good, right? You know, Potion Craft Alchemist Simulator, that's great. Like, you know, we were about to die. Actually doing videos of that recently as well, but, you know, this is like some old stuff. But, you know, I kind of rage quit at this point because, like, you know, I was having bad luck in it, and yeah, you know, carried on. Like, you know, then I took a first look at 171, and, you know, that's why I got like the, you know, the Brazilian viewers, like, and they really appreciated it, and, like, you know, that's why it's got quite a lot of attention. Like, you know, a lot of people looked at it. Maybe it's like a lot of people from all over looked at it, but, like, you know, I definitely got like a lot of comments in Portuguese, so, you know, I'd be willing to hazard a guess that, you know, proportionally there's more Portuguese people watching like 171 content than my other content, basically. And, you know, that's cool, because you know, there's nothing wrong being proud of a game that you're, like, you know, it's being produced locally to you, like, or relatively locally to you. So, you know, I started checking that out. And, you know, I did basically all I could do in that for that time. Like, you know, and then there's Postcraft Alchemist Simulator, where I kind of just, it's such a long game that, you know, it weren't worth like carrying on with it for, like, you know, the time it was. Like, you know, it wasn't really going anywhere as well. Like, you know, it's back, like, you know, because a bunch of these views, they come in retroactively, right? Like, say for example, I look at this one, right? If I look at the views, I mean, actually, to be fair, right, you know, it came in relatively quickly, but, like, you know, like in the first week, then it just kind of trails off, right? Like, you know, you don't really get many views after that, right? That's the fate of a lot of these things, really. Like, you know, but I only got those views because it was a final, right? If I was, like, you know, looking at some of these other ones, you know, again, it's just, you know, 39 views in the first few days, it kind of just trails off. And, you know, that's just kind of how it is, right? You know, I covered Zabe Kissed a bit, but, you know, never really went anywhere with that because, like, you know, like my level creation in that, A, it crashed, and B, I was spending too long on that anyway. Like, you know, I was just it would have been better if I made something out of it. In my Age of Empires 2 definitive custom map, like, you know, I'm actually really happy with that. Like, you know, it's a custom scenario, but yeah, I made a guide for, you know, getting A ranks in every stage in Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends. You know, the thing about it is, like, yeah, I didn't get a lot of views in a lot of these things. Like, you know, these are kind of just things I did, and just kind of end up happening over time, right? You know, if I look at this one, for example, now this one, yeah, well, it says, it's saying 23 views there, right? But if I look at, like, the actual, I don't know, it does say 23, but, like, yeah, so, like, you know, doing Spice Wars, I was terrible at the game, like, you know. And I think about Hunter Call of the Wild is, as much as I enjoyed it, the problem I had with it is, like, you know, even if I ended up, like, making, like, these hour-long videos on it, I feel like I barely got anything done. It'd be like one of those things I have to, like, do like a multiple hour stream to really get anything out of it, like, sort of thing. Like, you know, then I can actually be sitting there for a while doing things in the game instead of, like, kind of like, okay, cool, I've just done something, like I bagged 1 or 2 animals, now I've got to save, and that'll teleport me back to my nearest save point. It's like, well, yeah, that's not going to be something that's really useful. And obviously, like, Dave the Diver got like its update in October. It did a bunch of stuff. Um, yeah, like, I made like a better tuna party guide. I made a better lobster party guide. Well, a lobster party guide because it was actually there. I maxed out all the dishes again. And that's like an island of views in the middle of like just a desert basically, right? And it's funny I mentioned desert because it's doing Spice Wars next. And yeah, no, I was terrible at that game. Apparently, the faction I was playing at is a pretty bad faction, according to someone who actually does play the game, and it's actually quite good at it, apparently. So, you know, and again, it's just sort of like stuff just doesn't take off. Like, sort of like how Dave the Diver took off. Like all this stuff just doesn't. Like, it's just like people were mainly there for my Dave the Diver content, which is fine, but it's sort of like there's only so much Dave the Diver content I can make. Like, I'm not just gonna like make a bunch of like clickbait Dave the Diver videos where I talk about nothing but just Dave the Diver in the background, like saying like, hey, did you hear about this thing? Like, speculation around Dave the Diver? Well, no. Well, here's some random ass bullshit. And it's like, that's not me. I can't do that. Yeah, and I made Catch and Cook Fishing Adventure. I made a playthrough of it, I should say. I just went through it. It was a pretty jank game. It's not really much to the game. I played Rogue Book, which I thought was fun. Then I started Nier, and again, like that I thought was like a really fun game. I really like Nier, but yeah, then I did Dwarf Romantic, more Rogue Book, more Nier. I made Rogue Tower. I did Rogue Tower as well. Rogue Tower is a pretty interesting game. Um, yeah, it's kind of just like at that point I really started messing around with roguelikes on my channel. Um, but oh, then I had Dredge as well. Dredge was a pretty good one. I really like Dredge. Like, I'm looking forward to the DLC that's coming out on August 15th, and I will be playing it then as well. But yeah. So I was messing around with roguelikes at this time, like, trying to like get parts out of them out. Like, I went back to We Who Are About to Die as well. And yeah, like, I had some problems with weapons vanishing. They fixed that in this update, I feel, so that's alright. I played Bronzebeard Haven. I even played it with a friend, and that actually did a lot better than I thought it would. Like, in that sense, like, two people dislike it, but they probably just dislike how off the rails I kind of went. Like, I'm laughing like at the end. Like a lot of people really skipped to the end where we're just beating up customers. It was and laughing about it, like But another point, and we got the Dredge update for like Dave the Diver, and I did a trailer breakdown for that because I could. Like, I thought, well, yeah, and a lot of stuff I actually predicted quite well in it, right? And it's like, yeah, that's just how it kind of went. And it's sort of like, more Rogue Tower, the Dredge live stream, more Dave the Diver, so they had collaborations, all that, made Faith Armor Matter, like, all that sort of stuff, right? I took a look at Ravage Road, which gets copyright strikes. Well, not copyright, but the music gets copyright claimed. And it's funny, it's like, pretty much a day later, day after that, like, he actually fixed a crashing issue that I was experiencing in this video. I did check it out again later, but it's just not something I checked out my channel that often. Then like 171 got an update, all that sort of stuff. And then Teardown Time Camps came out. I did that, even though like that was quite an interesting one to me at least. Like, I kind of enjoyed it. Not many people watched it, but like, it is what it is. Then like, I got the Fun Dacker and We Who Are About to Die because that got an update or something. But then like it just like wiped in an update. Like, well, not wiped in an update, but wiped in like from loading things. I decided to do a review of like a bundle, which funny enough, this bundle's actually got bigger on Steam, so you can't really buy this same bundle anymore. So the thing is, like, not many people go by and watch all this stuff. Like, I did Wandering Village. I did, like, I played a lot more stuff. Like, Cloud Gardens, that was a fun game. I really did like Cloud Gardens. You know, that's just kind of how things went. You know, more Wandering Village. I did an achievement guide for Age of Empires Definitive Edition. Um, you know, I went back to Nia because, well, I took a break from it after doing a story, but then I was like, I have to finish this off. And, that's kind of when I went on, carried on with, like, those two games. And this video is blocked in Japan because it takes a cutscene with, all these dolls getting destroyed, so, like, like, I can't actually, like, it's blocked in some territories, which is, like, Japan. Like, yeah. So, that it is what it is. Um, and sort of like, I carried on with that, then Helldivers 2 came out. I checked that out for a bit. To be honest, I didn't really get on with Helldivers 2. I prefer Deep Rock Galactic. Like, Helldivers 2, it's not a bad game, but it had its problems, and those problems were enough to not make me not want to play, right? I did a Resident Evil 5 playthrough. Like, I really like Resident Evil 5 for some reason. Like, it's a funny game. It's just a fun, goofy game. Like, tried out Nightingale. But again, like, it's not really conducive to, like, the video format I was doing. Like, it's sort of like, if I wanted to get more out of that, I had to play for hours and hours and hours at a time. That just weren't it. I started up my GTA San Andreas playthrough here, like, alongside the Resident Evil 5. Completed Resident Evil 5. Ooh, did Journey, because Journey was playing having its 12th anniversary, so I was all like, yeah, I hear that people play Journey on Journey Day, which is March 13th, so I was all like, yeah, I'm down with that. Like, I'm going to get in on that because, well, why not? Like, I've wanted to play this game for a while. So, why not make it all happen at once sort of thing? Like, both um, do it in like a playthrough and sort of like and have it on Journey Day. And, it was quite a nice one playing. Like, I really enjoyed that game. I do want to go back and actually finish it off, but I just haven't. So, there's that. Then, yeah, I just did like the rest of Resident Evil 5. Carried on my San Andreas. Like, I just went full on San Andreas at that point. Like, it's getting partially blocked in some countries because of the music and baked into cutscenes. 171 gets an update, so I do that again. Like, all that sort of stuff, right? Like, it's just like, yeah, 171 is like one video on this page, but all the rest of it is like San Andreas all the way through, right? Like, because this is like, I was doing 100% of it. Like, I was getting everything done, right? Even the stuff that weren't required for 100%, I was doing, right? And I really enjoyed that. I do actually mean to go back on to San Andreas to see if I can actually get the, uh, get this gang territory glitch to work without using cheats. Because if I could do that, like, that'd be a great guide to make. Like, how to get more gang territories without actually cheating. It kind of worked out. I did a Dave the Diver again. Like, carried on with this. Like, it's like more gang territories there. Then I sort of just went full on Dave the Diver. Did some Wandering Village again. Got back into like Wandering Village because the Dave the Diver parts were getting longer and longer. Like, I was doing one dive per part, and it's still taking like hours, 2 hours. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like, it is what it is. Like, I was doing a lot in Dave the Diver at that time. Then, Godzilla came out when I was most of the way through my Dave the Diver playthrough. Actually, I already beat the final boss, but and then, at that point, I did a live stream with Godzilla DLC. Now I made a kaiju figurine guide because people are gonna want that. Like, I made that the day after. Using footage from my live stream, and the fact I used footage from my live stream didn't seem to affect it in the slightest, really. Like, and it's funny, like, so obviously, like, I'd done the live stream, played through the content for it, made a bunch of guides for it, and then the next thing that happens in the game is the Godzilla event, so I play through it again, like, so then I finish off the playthrough sort of thing. all the way to the secret boss at the end, which I managed to actually get close enough to like the other side quest, right? Like, the cucumber party just happened, like, or it's just about to happen in that save. I beat the final, I beat the secret boss there, so I managed to actually condense, like, get the secret boss instead of like a bunch of grind at the end. I managed to actually get within like the actual range of everything else that was going on, which I think is really cool, right? Then, like, I made the guide on like the most underrated dish, which, a guide on getting diamond cooks to rank taste requirement, you know, farming ruby sea dragons faster, like all that sort of stuff. And yeah, obviously I went back to Ravage Road, as I said I did. Still got copyright like on the music, but I gave it a better chance, and it's an alright game. But the problem is it gets laggy towards like wave 100, and like if you're using a bunch of bugbears, it just gets laggy. Like if you go into endless mode, and it's like uh, it kind of kills it for me, the fact that it's so laggy. I did these survival city builders, Patron, Banished. Like, I really enjoyed Banished. Like, Patron was doing like better in terms of viewership, but Banished, in my opinion, is a better game. I was supposed to make a guide to compare it, like not a guide, but a review comparing them both, but I never did. But in my opinion, Banished is superior. It just is. Then like We Were About to Die got an update, Teardown got a DLC, so I did both of them because to me they were interesting. They were what's interesting at the time, and like yeah, no, that it went really well in that sense. Like um, these get views, and like then obviously like there's this Dave the Diver collab with Nikkei, so I was like I'll check that out, do that, and yeah, like basically and if you look back through my channel enough, you'll probably see the reason why I did that. But like right, if you've been paying attention for what I've been scrolling through here. But basically, I decided to check that out because like Dave the Diver content, it's basically just like it's technically Dave the Diver content. It's just in a different game. So I did the 9 operator codes, which I hope this video does well because it's if I look at it, unlike other videos, it still kind of goes up. So yeah, like Banished, I want to get back to. By We Were About to Die. Then yeah, like I did another Gem for our Frostborn Wrath guide recently, but like basically as you can see, like it's kind of like it's all over the shop what I'm doing, right? And if I organise by views, I can clearly see like the most people are interested in like Dave the Diver guides. Um, that's pretty much it. Like if I scroll down, I get like a RuneScape guide. Like if I go to the next page, I end up like on my Gemcraft Frostborn Wrath guide, like Sleeping Dogs guide. Like I don't even know how this has so many views. Like the Crazy Drift guide. Like I'm not even that good at explaining it, but Bronzebeard Tavern playthrough that surprised me. It's got quite a few views, but basically it's all like a lot of it's just like Dave the Diver, Dave the Diver, Dave the Diver. And if it's not Dave the Diver, it's a guide on a different game. It's not like an actual playthrough. Like in fact, this is actually probably my best performing playthrough in that sense. Like um, like if I wanted to look at something else, it was like I mean, We Are About to Die has got like a. Oh, hang on a minute. I swear I had like a 500 views the other day for one of that. Where is it? Unless it's gone up even more now, but oh, 171 got like a good like view in there. That's not that high, but okay. Actually, I was gonna say I swear like one of my recent videos for We Are About to Die got like quite a lot of views, but maybe I'm misremembering or maybe I'm just not seeing it. But like yeah, like it's kind of like after that a lot of stuff just starts trailing off, and that's fine because I don't expect people to watch playthrough content online. Like it's just like I do because I wanted to upload every day, not because um, I thought people were going to watch it, because obviously they're not. Like you can't just start off on guides and then change the playthrough content. That's not how it works, right? Um, that's never been how it works. So it's sort of like I can see why people wouldn't watch it, but at the same time it's sort of like it is what it is. Um, In fact, although I have this organized by views, it's kind of not though. Like, look at this. Like 180, 95, 101. Like down here, it's just like, yeah, 63, 127, 62, and it's like, I don't think you're keeping up correctly. But yeah, no, like, it's like, here's my 541 that I was looking for on We Were About to Die, but anyway, not the point. Point being is, you know, it's been a full year, I've uploaded every day, and, you know, this is kind of like what I got to show for it, right? Like, you know, I got all this going, like, you know, in the year, I've got the best part of 500,000 views, right? The best part of, like, 20k out, like 20,000 hours of people watching it, right? Like watching what I posted, right? And yeah, most of it is came from the guides. There's no denying that. Like, no one watches the playthrough content as I was like looking at like there. The point being is, by posting the playthrough content every day, it keeps my channel relevant in that sense. Like, you know, the algorithm likes it when you post once a day. Like, you know, posting every day, the algorithm really likes it. So like, you know, people like, you know, after posting every day for like a, you know, a good 9-10 months, uh, my stuff just started getting recommended to people more. It was like, hey, this guy's actual YouTube now, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of not though, because you know my videos aren't like anything people are interested in. They're like, no, no, I just recommend your old videos, and it's like, well, like, see, even if I go to like the last 90 days, right, which is sort of like when this uptick sort of happened, right? Like, you know, actually, this is exactly when the uptick happened, right? I look at my best content in this period, and it's still all the Dave the Diver guides. Um, like, yeah, if I'm looking at the last 90 days, you know, still all the Dave the Diver guides. Like, and also Gemcraft, Rossbomb Wrath, but, you know, Sleeping Dogs, Gambling Award, but basically it's still the guides. It's not like, okay, yeah, this, it's basically just like, yeah, everything that is, like, so, yeah, if I was more interested in, like, hunting down views, as it were, like, you know, getting as many views as possible, yeah, I'd make more guides, but the thing about it is, it's kind of like, well, there's only so many things I can make a guide on, and I don't want to make guides that are just like, oh yeah, I do not know anything about what I'm talking about, here's a guide, and everyone just comes in like who's actually good at the game, comes in like, well, actually, you got this wrong, because if you're actually doing this, 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 and this, you'd find that, you know, that makes whatever you were saying completely redundant, and it's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense, like, you know, that's what in theory I'm going to have happen with this content here, with like the high rarity talisman fragment farming. Like, you know, I already got a bunch of feedback in the forum saying like, oh no, you shouldn't bother like, you know, going for these high rarity talisman fragments. You should just get them over time when you're playing new levels and repeating it. Getting horizontal bonuses for your talisman by matching ruins, that's where it's at. And it's sort of like, is it though? Because when you read the extreme end game, late game guide, they're saying like, oh yeah, the ruin matching bonus is pretty much irrelevant. It doesn't really help you with XP. You know, you don't really need that. You're going to get plenty of mana for your mana farm anyway. What you want is plus 25 to all skills, followed by these skills, right? And it's like, so, you know, pick a lane, really. Like, you know, but I'm going to trust the guy that, like, you know, A, wrote the guide, like, help contribute to the guy, and B, actually put me on to, like, I4 is, like, the field where you actually farm these talisman fragments, right? Like, that's the point. I'm going to trust that person, because they're the same person. Like, the person who recommended I4 also contributed to that guide, so I reckon they know something about science. Like, you know, they're contributing to a guide. So yeah, but anyway, another point. That's kind of just a tangent about that video, but like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with my channel, right? And yeah, over time, you know, I get some random views, random spikes in views, but you know, mostly it's about, and me just doing me, really. Like, you know, I do what I want. Like, you know, I don't know why this one just got so many views out of nowhere, but I'll take it. I'm happy with it. Well, that about does it for me, because I've been rambling for long enough. Like, you know, I need to get this video out today, so I actually have an upload for today, because this is my today's upload for July 16th. So as you can see, I don't actually have the July 16th upload up yet. You know, there's no July 16th date. So this is going to be that one. But yeah, so that's a full year on YouTube. You know, I've been going through my analytics and all that. Yeah, and that is really all I can say about that. Like, you know, it's been an experience. Like, and you know, I hope to carry on with it. Like, you know, I want to see where this takes me, and hopefully one day I actually do something else on the side to actually make use of this platform that I'm building here, instead of like just making a platform for no reason. Anyway, not the point. Point being is, I hope you all enjoyed watching. For some reason, like if you're watching this, like maybe you enjoy the stats or whatever, right? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you all have a good day.